Tourism is a genuine driver of solidarity and development. Let us all fully harness its power to bring people and communities together, abiding by the Global Code of Ethics for Tourism. This way, tourism can keep delivering better opportunities and sustainable development for millions across the globe.
Hi there! Did you know that ethical tourisms are moral principles and values that people will use in order to decide what is right and wrong in every situation? It helps us make decisions that create positive impacts and drive us away from unjust outcomes, and with campaigns, laws, and ordinances, it raised awareness to make benefits to the people, environment, and every destination we visit. To put it simply, ethical tourism is a form of responsible tourism.
Global Code of Ethics for Tourism is one of the codes of conduct, a living document used in ethical tourism. And as for 2020, with international tourism forecast to reach 1.6 billion arrivals, the members of the World Tourism Organization believe that the Global Code of Ethics for Tourism is needed to minimize the negative impacts of tourism on the environment and on cultural heritage while minimize the benefits for residents of tourism destinations.
But what is the Global Code of Ethics for Tourism? It is a comprehensive set of principles whose purpose is to guide in tourism development, central and local governments, local communities, the tourism industry and its professionals, as well as visitors, both international and domestic. Adopted in 1999 by the General Assembly of the World Tourism Organization. Its acknowledgement by the United Nations 2 years later expressly encouraged the United Nations World Tourism Organization to promote the effective follow-up of its provisions. The Code has 10 articles covering the economic, social, cultural, and environmental components of travel and tourism. Tourism contribution to mutual understanding and respect between peoples and societies. Tourism as a vehicle for individual and collective fulfillment. Tourism a factor of sustainable development. Tourism a user of the cultural heritage of mankind and contributor to its enhancement. Tourism a beneficial activity for host countries and communities. Obligations of stakeholders in tourism development. Right to tourism, liberty of tourist movements, rights of the workers and entrepreneurs in the tourism industry, implementation of the principles of the Global Code of Ethics for Tourism.
Over the years, people have become far more conscious of their actions on the environment, local people, and local economy. Whether it's by turning off the lights when we leave the room, recycling our empty boxes, closing the faucet, and many more. Here in Boracay, there are many ways that we can be ethical tourists. All the activities you get to do here ends up offering some kind of income or positive impact in the region.
Boracay is located in northwestern Aklan and it was dubbed as Asia's 24/7 island. It is just 7 kilometers long and less than 1 kilometer wide. Boracay is a tropical paradise one should not miss. You can enjoy a lot of activities, nightlife, food, and accommodation, which the world consider the best.
The government in Boracay made ordinances that help maintain the beauty and the order in the paradise. Like for example,
Ordinance Number 1, Municipal Ordinance No. 319. An ordinance prohibiting the carrying or the clutching of glass bottles of any beverage in the beaches of Boracay Island and prescribing penalties thereof. The local government code empowers the municipality to enact ordinances intended to prevent, suppress, or impose appropriate penalties for activities inimical to the welfare and morals of inhabitants of the municipality. It is also the duty of the local government to protect the environment and impose appropriate penalties for acts that endanger the environment. It has been a practice of Boracay Island's revelers merrymakers of partygoers to carry glass bottles of any the end result of such practice always turns in the littering of these glass bottles to the detriment of the environment and the injury it may cause to the visitors promenading the white beaches of Boracay Island. Be it ordained, as it hereby ordained, with the sangguniang bayan na palay in session duly assembled that. This ordinance is associated with Article 3 of Global Code of Ethics for Tourism, or in short, GCET. The Article 3 of GCET is a factor of sustainable development. The ordinances can help to sustain the numerous methods to assist the island in maintaining its natural beauty. Locals and visitors can help the environment by storing little garbage pieces in their pockets until a bin is found, utilizing paper bags and reusable containers, and walking or biking around the island.
Another island ordinance that is associated with this article is Municipal Ordinance number 311, known as the Anti-Littering Ordinance of 2011. This ordinance prohibits littering, dumping, throwing of garbage, trash, rubbish, refuse, and other waste materials, and prescribing penalties for certain acts and omissions inimical to cleanliness and sanitation. The local government code likewise mandates the protection of the environment and imposes appropriate penalties for acts which endanger the environment. The local government of Malay firmly believes that a clean and tidy community fosters concern for the environment. To this end, there is a need to intensify the campaign on proper waste disposal to prevent ecological and environmental degradation and instill a sense of discipline, social responsibility, and awareness for the environment to promote ecological justice and sustainable development. This ordinance, the Anti-Littering Ordinance of 2011, relates to Global Tourism Ethics of UNWTO, which was Article 3, Tourism a Factor of Sustainable Development. It can help to sustain the natural environment of Boracay, to avoid the waste production by refusing plastics and other materials, to protect the nature tourism of Boracay and its ecotourism.
Another ordinance that can be associated with GSET is the Municipal Ordinance number 230. It is an ordinance charging environmental and admission fee to all Boracay-bound guests and tourists.
As the number of tourists increases, it imposes environmental concerns, which must be addressed properly in order to sustain the island's premier tourist destinations in the Philippines.
The environmental or admission fee costs of 50 pesos per tourist. It shall be mandatory for every guest going to Boracay to pay the environmental or admission fee. The 15% of the amount collected shall be the share of the province, provided that the said collection was done at Katiklan Jetty Port. The net share of LGU Malay shall be deposited in a trust fund, allocations of which shall be exclusively for environmental and tourism programs and projects in the municipality of Malay. And as of now, from 75 pesos, non-Aklanons will soon pay 300 pesos environmental fee to enter Boracay.
The ordinance is associated with the GSET Article 3, as all forms of tourism development that are conducive to saving rare and precious resources should be given priority and encouraged by national, regional, and local public authorities.
Next is Municipal Ordinance number 254 of Series 2007, wherein it is an ordinance requiring project proponents, contractors, hotel, resort, or business establishment proprietors and or operators within the municipal jurisdiction of Malay to give preference in the employment of local applicants for labor, manpower, resort, and or business personnel and or staff in their respective establishments, fixing the required quota for local employment, and prescribing penalties for violation thereof. the local government code has mandated an ordinance requiring business operators within the jurisdiction of Malay, particularly in Boracay, to give preference in the employment of local applicants for labor, manpower, resort, and/or business personnel and/or staff in their respective establishments. Prescribed local applicants refers to those persons of age who are residing in Malay or married to a Malay resident, or those who have resided in Malay for at least 6 months, wherein the length of residency must be duly certified by the punong barangays of the place where the applicant resides before filing their respective application for employment. The required employment quotas are strictly observed where employment of locals in project proponents and/or contractors of civil and structural works shall have at least 60% of unskilled labor and/or manpower and at least 40% of skilled labor and/or manpower, as well as employment of hotels, resorts, or business establishment proprietors and/or operators shall employ at least 40% of local applicants of their personnel and/or staff. These project proponents, contractors, business establishment proprietors and/or operators shall secure a certification from the Municipal Public Employment Service Office of LGU Malay certifying that they are complying with the provisions of this ordinance, and this certification shall be part of the prerequisites that must be submitted as part of the requirements for operating a business. When not complied, the local government shall conduct an on-spot inventory inspection and they shall receive a stern warning and a fine of 2,500 pesos. This ordinance is associated with the GCET Article Number 5, a beneficial activity for host countries and communities, wherein local populations shall be associated with tourism activities and share equitably in the economic, social, and cultural benefits they generate, and particularly in the creation of direct and indirect jobs resulting from them.
Another ordinance that can be associated with GSET is Municipal Ordinance Number 164 Series of 2002, an ordinance setting guidelines to regulate the operation of tourism guides, coordinators, and tourism escort with the Municipality of Malay. It is served as guidelines for tourism guide, tour coordinator, tourist escort, tourism assistance center, and Boracay Centralized Assistant for Reservation and Link System, Boracay Cares. It's a policy of this municipality to grant a permit to exercise such trade within its municipal jurisdiction. All tourism guides, coordinators, and escorts are meant to lead the way. We provide information, arrange activities, and professionally conduct tourists to their destinations.
All of them are required to register with the local government of Malay and annually secure a municipal license or mayor's permit. The absence of both shall prohibit such tourist guides, coordinators, and escorts to conduct their trade within this municipality and shall submit prerequisites document. Additional following guidelines on deportment shall be observed by all the tourist guides, coordinators, and escorts. Where no one shall conduct business outside the municipal tourism center. All tourist guides, coordinators, escorts shall display their identification card at all times while conducting their trades, proper grooming. Also in this ordinance, assisting tourists or visitors by tourist guides, coordinators, and escorts who are under the influence of liquor is strictly prohibited. When this penalty is violated, there are fined at up to 2,500 pesos plus imprisonment not more than 30 days depends on the discretion of the court. This ordinance is connected to Article Number 6 of GSET, where the tourism professionals has the obligation to the operations and insofar as it depends on them, should show concern in cooperation with the public authorities.
Boracay Boracay really benefits from these ordinances. All segments of tourism industry including tour operators, hotels, government organizations, locals, and travelers themselves take responsibility for ensuring travel is sustainable. It makes better places for people to live in and better places for people to visit.
In addition to our ordinances, on October 26, the Boracay Opening Day, the Department of Tourism promised to promote and advertise its new project, Responsible Tourism for the Build of New Boracay, to revive the island and natural resources due to its environmental abuse by the tourists and also by the locals as well. Well, according to Alex Makatuno, which is the DOT Policy Formulation and International Cooperation Officer, the people who visit the area needs to know or remind themselves what are the important tips that travelers should follow. Also, he said those tips are developed and come from the World Committee on Tourism Ethics, and it's based on the UN World Tourism Organization Global Code of Ethics for Tourism. He points out that every tourist needs to have some research and find out about the destination. Another rule that Makapuno said that be careful with the environment and remember to avoid the activities that the area offers that cause harm on the environment. And also, avoid byproducts or souvenirs that use endangered animals or plants.
These ordinances classify acceptance and unacceptance behavior. With this, it helps us improve the products and services for our dear paradise, which offers long-term tourisms which maximize the economic benefit. Tourism ethics is the key determinant of the ordinances for the Boracay's missions to achieve the goals, objectives, and visions and establish operations that anchor high level of productivity and profitability. How to become an ethical tourist? Be kind to your environment, be kind to your economy, and be kind to your society.